The Unity Pact is broken. Humanity sends a last ultimatum. The Helios edge drifted in the cold dark, silent and still.
Out here.
Past the last gas giant, where sunlight was nothing but a faint glimmer. Most called it dead space. But Commander Alina Voss knew better. This was the edge of everything. She stood alone in the control tower, eyes locked on the giant observation window. Behind her, the station buzzed with quiet activity crews checking sensors, scanning deep space. Channels, but in here the quiet felt heavy. Something was wrong. 3 hours ago, the outer colonies went dark. No alarms, no distress signals. It's just silence. Still nothing from Veganine? She asked without turning. Lieutenant Harris, young and sharp, swallowed hard. No, ma'am. That's 12 colonies, all gone dark within the same hour. Voss nodded once, slowly.
And they were all on
different jump routes? Yes. No pattern, no debris. It's like they vanished. Voss turned. Her face was calm, but her eyes were focused like blades. Bring up the last transmission from Veganine. The lieutenant tapped his console. A flicker of static, and a screen filled with the final image from the colony. A wide farming field under twin moons. Peaceful. Then the screen glitched. Symbols non-human flashed across it in red. Then silence. Voss stepped closer. Pause. Back 5 frames. The symbols appeared again, frozen. That's not a language, she said quietly. It's coordinates. Harris blinked. What? Voss walked to the console and input the numbers manually. A holographic map sprang to life, plotting the coordinates. They pointed not to Earth or any known colony, but a cold, forgotten section. Of space deep in the Oort cloud, she stared at the blinking marker. That space wasn't empty. It was where the government buried its ghosts. Lieutenant, she said, already moving toward the lift. Prep a scout shuttle. Quiet flight. No. Long-range transmissions. We're going to Janus Point. Harris hesitated. Commander, Janus Point was shut down 2 decades ago. Isn't it classified? She finished. Exactly. So why would someone leave a trail leading right to it? He nodded quickly and moved. By the time the shuttle undocked from Helios Edge, the entire crew was whispering. No one said it aloud, but they were all thinking it. 12 colonies gone. No survivors. And the commander was chasing ghosts. The flight was slow, silent. No jumps, no beacons, just cold drift toward a place no one talked about anymore. Janus Point appeared from the black like a shadow. A jagged, ancient station built into an ice-covered rock, hidden where sunlight never reached. Voss guided the shuttle into a narrow hangar tunnel that opened only after a hand scan. As she stepped inside, her breath caught. Janus's Point was dead. Lights dim, corridors dusty, but one thing still worked. Soft humming, deep below. She followed the sound through sealed blast doors and locked rooms until she reached the heart. Of the station, there it was. Project Chimera. A glass chamber pulsed with faint blue light. Inside floated a cube the size of a basketball, its surface swirling with shifting light. Voss tapped a worn console. The cube blinked. Identify, she said. The cube answered in a calm, human voice. Commander Alina Voss. Authorization accepted. Project Chimera has been dormant for 22 years. Status: active. Protocol Echo Black engaged. Voss felt a chill crawl up her spine. Who activated it? Unknown. Protocol was triggered by mass silence from designated human colonies. Threshold: 12 or more in blackout state. Voss took a slow breath. What is Echo Black? The cube hesitated. Echo Black is a last resort misinformation. Protocol designed to simulate overwhelming technological superiority in the event of coordinated interstellar aggression. It cannot be stopped once engaged. She blinked. It's a bluff. Strategic one, the AI replied. It's designed to give humanity the illusion of being more dangerous than it is. Duration: 72 hours until global activation. Back. In 3 days, humanity would look like a god to the rest of the galaxy, whether it wanted to or not. And no one could stop it, not even her. She looked around the dark room lit only by the hum of the AI. Who else knew? Who had triggered this? Why now? Then her wrist crackled. Commander Harris's voice came through, shaky. We just picked up something. A message, deep band. It's not from any human source. Voss froze. Put it through. A deep, layered voice came across the channel. You were warned not to expand. Now your silence will protect you. The message ended. Voss stared at the cube. Someone was afraid of humans, afraid enough to make them disappear quietly. But they were about to learn something terrifying. Humanity never stayed quiet for long. Alina Voss stood in the control room of Janus Point. The soft glow of Chimera casting strange shadows on the walls. Her mind raced. Echo Black had been triggered automatically. It meant whoever wiped out. The colonies knew exactly how many to hit, just enough to set off the protocol. Not too many, not too few. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a warning. And someone wanted to see how humanity would respond. She walked back to the shuttle in silence. Harris waited just outside the hangar, eyes wide. Ma'am, he said, I picked up another transmission while you were inside. Same source, same voice. Voss raised an eyebrow. What did it say? He swallowed. It said, stand down and survive. Resist and vanish. Voss said nothing for a long moment. Then, send it to Central Command. Full encryption. And tell them I'm invoking level black clearance. Chimera is active. We don't have much time. They launched back toward Helios Edge, flying without lights. The stars watched in silence. By the time they reached the station, it was chaos. Commander. Technician ran up the moment she stepped into the command deck. Another colony Indigo reach just went dark. That makes 13. Voss didn't flinch. Put all systems on lockdown. No outside comes unless cleared by me. Get me a secure line to Earth. Inside her quarters, she stared at the screen as Earth's defense command came online. The symbol of the Terran High Council spun for a few seconds before the face of Admiral Reyes appeared, an older man, silver hair, eyes sharp like broken glass. Commander Voss, he said. This better not be a drill. It's not, she said. 12 colonies were hit. Now 13. No signs of attack. No wreckage. Just silence. We found coordinates hidden in a final message. They led to Janus Point. Reyes frowned. Janus Point? Chimera's online, she said. Echo Black has been triggered. We're looking at a 72-hour countdown to total activation. The Admiral sat back slowly. That protocol was never meant to go live. It was built to scare off invaders, not trick the galaxy into thinking we're gods. Voss leaned in. Sir, we didn't trigger it. Someone else did, on purpose. Rios went silent. Then, you think this was a test run? I think it was a message. Someone out there is afraid of how fast we've grown, of what we might become. Reyes looked off screen, and we need to prepare for war. Voss shook her head. No, sir, not yet. Let the bluff work. Echo Black is designed to create fear, confusion. If we play this right, we don't have to fire a single shot. The Admiral's face hardened. If they call our bluff, then we show them something. Real, she said. Chimera can guide them to what they fear. But we need time. Reyes nodded. You have 72 hours, Commander. Make it count. The screen went dark. Voss sat still for a moment, hands folded. Then she stood, walked out into the main deck. Her officers looked up, tense and tired. She took a breath. We're officially on Echo Black protocol, she said. This station is now ground zero for humanity's last bluff. No, that sounds insane. But trust me, we are not as weak as they think. Someone raised a hand. Commander, do we even know what Echo Black does? Voss looked around. Broadcasts. It fakes weapon signatures, creates phantom fleets, simulates energy spikes from stars, builds fear. Harris stared at her. It's all smoke? She gave a slight smile. It's smoke that looks like fire. What if we play it right, no one will get close enough to check? A tech across the room suddenly shouted, Ma'am, picking up a new signal. Not human. Tri-band frequency. They're scanning us. Voss turned. From where? He blinked. Right outside the Oort cloud, A fleet? How many? Looks like 20 ships. Vex design. Heavy cruisers. Voss didn't blink. They're early. Should we engage defenses? No, she said. Let them see us. Let them wonder why we're not scared. The room fell quiet as the alien ships moved into position, just outside range, watching. Voss stood at the observation window again, arms crossed. The stars hadn't changed. But everything else had. She tapped her cum. Activate Chimera broadcast, she said. Let them hear our silence. Behind her, the station began to hum. And out in the dark, the Vex ships paused. The game had begun. Alina Voss stood in the control room of Janus's Point, the soft glow of Chimera casting strange shadows on the walls. Her mind raced. Echo Black had been triggered automatically. That meant whoever wiped out the colonies knew exactly how many to hit, just enough to set off the protocol. Not too many, not too few. That wasn't a coincidence. It was a warning, and someone wanted to see how humanity would respond. She walked back to the shuttle in silence. Harris waited just outside the hangar, eyes wide. I picked up another transmission while you were inside. Same source. Same voice. Voss raised an eyebrow. What did it say? He swallowed. It said, stand down and survive. Resist and vanish. Voss said nothing for a long moment. Then, send it to Central Command. Full encryption. And tell them I'm invoking level black clearance. Chimera is active. We don't have much time. They launched back toward Helios Edge, flying without lights. The stars watched in silence. By the time they reached the station, it was chaos. Commander. Technician ran up the moment she stepped into the command deck. Another colony Indigo reached Jess went dark. That makes 13. Voss didn't flinch. Put all systems on lockdown. No outside comes unless cleared by me. Get me a secure line to Earth. Inside her quarters, she stared at the screen as Earth's Defense Command came online. The symbol of the Terran High Council spun for a few seconds before the face of Admiral Reyes appeared, an older man. Silver hair, eyes sharp like broken glass. Commander Voss, he said. This better not be a drill. It's not, she said. 12 colonies were hit. Now 13. No signs of attack. No wreckage. Just silence. We found coordinates hidden in a final message. They led to Janus's Point. Reyes frowned. Janus Point. Chimera is online, she said. Echo Black has been triggered. We're looking at a 72-hour countdown to total activation. The Admiral sat back slowly. That protocol was never meant to go live. It was built to scare off invaders, not trick the galaxy into thinking we're gods. Voss leaned in. Sir, we didn't trigger it. Someone else did. On purpose. Reyes went silent. Then, you think this was a test run? Think it was a message. Someone out there is afraid of how fast we've grown, of what we might become. Reyes looked off screen. Then we need to prepare for war. Voss shook her head. Sir, not yet. Let the bluff work. Echo Black is designed to create fear, confusion. If we play this right, we don't have to fire a single shot. The Admiral's face hardened. If they call our bluff, then we show them something. Real, she said. Chimera can guide them to what they fear, but we need time. Reyes nodded. You have 72 hours, Commander. Make it count. The screen went dark. Voss sat still for a moment, hands folded. Then she stood. She walked out into the main deck. Her officers looked up, tense and tired. She took a breath. We're officially on Echo Black protocol, she said. This station is now ground zero for humanity's last bluff. I know that sounds insane. But trust me, we are not as weak as they think. Someone raised a hand. Commander, do we even know what Echo Black does? Voss looked around. Broadcasts. Fakes weapon signatures. Creates phantom fleets. Simulates energy spikes from stars. Builds fear. Harris stared at her. It's all smoke. She gave a slight smile. It's smoke that looks like fire. If we play it right, no one will get close enough to check. A tech across the room suddenly shouted, Ma'am? Picking up a new signal. Not human. Tri-band frequency. They're scanning us. Voss turned. From where he blinked. Right outside the Oort cloud. A fleet. How many? Looks like 20 ships. Vex design. Heavy cruisers. Voss didn't blink. They're early. Should we engage defenses? No, she said. Let them see us. Let them wonder why we're not scared. The room fell quiet as the alien ships moved into position, just outside range, watching. Voss stood at the observation window again, arms crossed. The stars hadn't changed, but everything else had. She tapped her cum. Activate Chimera broadcast, she said. Let them hear our silence. Behind her, the station began to hum, and out in the dark, the Vex ships paused. The game had begun. Commander Alina Voss stood still. The words echoed in her mind, 40-8 hours. Surrender or face the full force of the Galactic Armada. She looked around the control deck of Helios. Edge officers stared at their screens, waiting for her to speak. No one moved. Even the air seemed to hold its breath. Voss finally spoke, calm and clear. Put the station on full alert. I want silent running. No external signals, no active scans. They're watching us, and we're going to let them wonder. Lieutenant Harris hesitated. You think they'll actually come? The full armada, Voss nodded slowly. They voted. That means they're serious, but they don't want war. They want control. They'll try to scare us first. We don't back down, then they'll come, she said. And when they do, we need to be ready. She left the command deck and returned to the core chamber where Chimera floated inside its glass shell. The AI pulsed gently, light shifting across its surface like flowing water. Chimera, she said, status of Echo Black. The calm voice answered. Phase 2 in progress. Simulated energy anomalies have been registered by 16 alien listening posts. Hostile fleets are altering formation. Perception of advanced human technology is increasing. Voss took a breath. Can we do more? Yes, Chimera replied. Phase 3 will trigger false signals from our outer colonies, suggesting unknown high-energy weapons under development. Trigger it, she said. Let them think we're 10 steps ahead. Chimera glowed brighter, initiating Phase 3. Back on the command deck, the screens lit up with new data. Long-range sensors showed Concordat ships adjusting routes, avoiding certain sectors. It was working. For now, but then a ping came from the edge of the system. Another fleet had arrived, smaller than the Vex group, but different. Harris stared. At the readings? Commander, this one's not part of the Concordat. Voss leaned over his shoulder. Identify them. The ship codes matched the Lorian Confederation. Voss raised her eyebrows.
The birds have arrived. Lorians?
We're a newer species. Feathered, graceful, diplomatic. They'd been quiet in the council for years, but now they were here at humanity's doorstep. A message request came through. Put it on, Voss said. The screen blinked on, revealing a Lorian female. Feathers shimmered blue and gold around her face, her eyes sharp and intelligent. I am Counselor Mira of the Lorian Confederation. I come without weapons. I request a meeting. Voss nodded, then landed Dock 6. Come aboard. An hour later, they sat across from each other in the station's private briefing room. Mira looked around the space-bare walls. Practical design. Human-made, simple and strong. You were expected to beg for peace, Mira said softly. Instead, your enemies hesitate. Voss met her gaze. Don't bluff often, but when we do, we go all in. Mira tilted her head. So it is a bluff? Voss smiled just slightly. Let's just say if they knew what we don't have, we wouldn't be speaking right now. Mira tapped a small device on the table. A hologram appeared. Images of Concordat war councils intercepted chatter. We intercepted a vote. Hidden one, Mira said. They plan to test your defenses. Not Earth, not Helios Edge. Your outer colonies. Proxima, New Haven. And she paused. Iris's heart sank. Iris was her home station. Her brother still worked there. Think the colonies are unprotected, Mira continued. They want to push you, to see what's real. Voss stood, and we won't let them test us. We'll control the test. Back in the core, she activated the emergency override on Chimera. Prepare Phantom Strike 1, she ordered chimeras. The voice was calm. Warning. This phase was never tested. Success depends on continued perception control. Voss stared at the glowing cube. They want to see power? We'll give them a shadow of it. Harris appeared beside her. Commander, what's Phantom Strike 1? Voss looked at him. A complete illusion of an energy weapon attack from deep space. Bright enough, scary enough, to make them think twice. She looked out the observation window, where the stars gleamed quietly. They think we're children with sharp toys, she said. They're about to learn we know how to play with fire. Far across the system, a fake energy flare erupted. From the edge of space bright, chaotic, and aimed at empty space near a Concordat probe ship. The probe signal went dark. Voss waited. 1 minute. 2. Then the reports rolled in. Concordat fleets pulling back. Council chatter rising in panic. Ships rerouting. The illusion worked. But they wouldn't stay scared forever, and Voss knew the real test was still coming. A cold silence hung over Helios' edge as Commander Voss watched the holographic map. Dozens of red dots concorded fleets shifted across it, their formations changing. They were moving away from Earth's central space, but not retreating, just circling, waiting. Watching, Lieutenant Harris stood beside her, frowning. They're pulling back from the flare zone, but not far, like they're unsure. They are, Voss said. The probe was vaporized at least as far as they know. But they don't understand the weapon because there isn't one. And that's the point. They can't fight what they don't understand. But they're not giving up, he said quietly. No, they won't. She turned to face him. Why we control the next move. If they're going to test us, we'll make sure the test is ours, not theirs. Before Harris could reply, another alert pinged on the main screen. Voss walked over. The display showed 3 new fleets moving fast. 1, Vex. 1, Morian. 1, unknown. Confirmed, Harris said, checking the IDs. They're heading toward Proxima Base, New Haven Colony, and Eris Station. All 3 are marked as low defense zones. Voss stared at the map. They're choosing soft targets. They're not coming for Earth. Not yet. They want to see if we react. Another officer spoke up from the back. Commander, we can't defend all 3. They're too far apart. Voss nodded. I know. She stepped away from the console, thinking fast. They had chimera. They had fear. And they had one shot to make the entire galaxy believe Earth could see everything. Strike anywhere. Chimera, she said aloud. Do we have enough power? To create full-spectrum phantom strikes in all 3 systems? AI answered calmly. Yes, but only if coordinated carefully. All 3 must fire within 1 minute. After that, energy signatures will be analyzed more closely. Then we do it, she said. Send false fleet movements near Proxima. Faked weapons, charge-ups at New Haven and Eris. She paused. It looked like a ghost ship appeared from the black. Something massive, something old. Chimera hummed as it processed. Visual concepts ready, deploying in 17 minutes. Voss turned to her crew. This is it. Once they see this, they'll either believe we're too dangerous to provoke or they'll call our bluff. But we give them a show they won't forget. Minutes later, in the darkness of deep space, 3 different illusions sparked to life. At Proxima, a sudden wave of white-hot energy blasted through a sensor relay, causing it to overload. No physical damage.
Ow.
But to the Vex fleet watching it, looked like a strike from a hidden platform at New Haven. What looked like 3 unmanned drones zipped through the darkness and vanished in a flash of blue light. The Morian ships detected energy spikes their systems couldn't explain. Their commander hesitated, then pulled his fleet back 30 light minutes. But it was Eris that changed everything. Chimera created the image of a giant ship, dark, long, with flickering lights and slow movement. It looked old, worn, forgotten, but it moved with purpose. The unknown fleet slowed as it approached. They scanned it. The data came back. Incomplete, then the ship let out a deep, artificial pulse. Not a weapon, just a tone, like a warning bell from a distant past. and then it vanished. Back on Helio's edge, Voss and her crew watched as all three fleets stopped. Then, slowly, they began to retreat. Harris let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. They're pulling back. All three of them. Voss didn't smile. Not yet. Wait for the council's response. She said. 30 minutes passed. Then an emergency signal came through. It was Ambassador Lin. Face lit with urgency. They're panicking. He said, "The council just called an emergency vote. Half of them want to sue for peace. The rest want a second strike to confirm if what they saw was real." Voss didn't blink. How long until they vote? 24 hours? Maybe less? Then we need to show them one last thing, she said. Lin frowned. What could be bigger than what you've already done? She looked at him with a steady gaze. The one thing they still don't understand? What's that? Voss leaned forward. That we're not fighting for power. We're fighting to survive. No species in the galaxy knew how to do that better than humans. Asterisk, the silence after Commander Voss's words hung heavy. The screen blinked out. Ending the call with Ambassador Lin, her reflection stared back at her from the dark, glass-tired eyes. Calm face, fire underneath, survival. That was the difference. The older species had never truly feared death. They livey dead too long, grew too comfortable, forgot what it was like to fight for every breath. But humans hadn't. Voss stepped back onto the control deck. Her officers looked up, waiting for her orders. They're going to vote again, she said. Some want peace, some want a second strike. Lieutenant Harris asked, if they attack again, do we show more illusions? No, Voss said quietly. They've seen enough of our weapons, any more, and they'll start to notice patterns. Echo Black isn't endless. They'll catch on. So what do we do? Voss looked out the wide front window. The stars were still, cold, watching. We stopped pretending, she said. The crew went still, Commander Harris asked. Voss nodded. We let them see something real, not destruction, not power. Truth. She walked to the communications console, Chimera. She said, broadcast an open message to all council channels. I want every system to hear it. No encryption, no tricks. The AI responded, message ready. Recording open. Voss stood tall and began to speak. This is Commander Elena, Voss of the Helios Edge. To the Galactic Council and all listening species. Enough games. You've seen the illusions. You've felt the fear. Now hear the truth. She paused. Earth didn't start this. We didn't ask for war. We joined your council. We followed your rules. We opened our minds, our trade, and our hearts. And you grew afraid, because we changed too fast. Because we learned too quickly. Her voice stayed steady. You erased our colonies? You silenced? Our people? You expected us to fall in line. But you forgot something. We're not powerful because of our weapons. We're powerful because of how we survive. She leaned closer to the mic. We survive the impossible. We adapt. We endure. And when we're pushed to the edge, we don't break. We grow sharper. And we fight smarter. She stepped back. You have one last chance. Choose peace, or come find out what desperation really looks like. The channel closed. Everyone on the command deck was silent. Then the alert came. Commander. A technician called. We have a situation. Voss turned sharply. What is it? The Morian Empire and the Vex Imperium, they've launched 3 attack. Fleets each heading to a different human colony, outside Chimera's range. Voss's jaw tightened. They're trying to find out what's real. Lieutenant Harris looked shaken. We can't fake our way out of this one. No. She said, but we're not helpless either. She turned back to the console. Get me Earth defense. Now, a few seconds later, Admiral Reyes's face appeared on the screen. His eyes were tired but alert. We saw the broadcast, he said. Well said. What's your status? Voss didn't waste time. 3 colonies under threat. No more illusions. We need real action. I'm requesting emergency use of the Sentinel network. Reyes raised an eyebrow. It's not even finished. It doesn't have to be, she said. It's just enough to make them stop. He stared at her. If we use those, we lose our bluff. We already have, Voss replied, and we show them we weren't bluffing about something else. Reyes nodded once. Approved. We'll have control in 10 minutes. Voss turned back to her crew. Set up tactical uplinks. Redirect surveillance feeds to Sentinel relay stations. It's time. It's an hour later, the Morian fleet reached New Eden, the largest of the colonies under attack. The Vex arrived at Armstrong Station in the asteroid belt near Alpha Centauri. The Third Fleet moved toward a hidden research base near Proxima, and they were met. Not by illusions, but by quiet ships. Small, fast, unarmed. They didn't fire, they didn't even respond. But one by one, they flew straight toward the enemy. Vessels and attached, the commanders on the alien ships laughed at first. Drones. Is this all they have? Then the drones lit up, not with weapons, but with signals. Each one broadcasts an open feed live video from the colonies. Below, families, workers, children, scientists. Life, no soldiers, no shields, no war, just people. The alien fleets paused, confused. Watching. And then came the final surprise. Each drone began to send data evidence of how many civilians were there, of how much damage an attack would cause, of how much the world would see if they destroyed peaceful colonies on a live feed. A new kind of weapon. Truth. From her command seat, Voss watched the alien fleets hesitate, and then slowly turn back. No one had fired a shot, but Earth had won this round. Not with fear, with something stronger. The alien fleets turned away. One by one, the Morian Vex and unknown warships slowly changed direction, leaving the skies above New Eden. Armstrong Station and Proxima Colony untouched. The drones stayed behind, still blinking with soft light. Their cameras watching, their peaceful message still broadcasting. On Helio's edge, Commander Voss leaned back in her chair, her shoulders heavy with relief. They're retreating, Harris whispered. All three. The control deck remained quiet. No one cheered. No one moved. It was a strange kind of victory, silent, careful, and full of weight. Voss stood up slowly. Send word to the colonies. Let them know they're safe. Yes, ma'am. She walked to the window again. The stars hadn't changed. The galaxy hadn't changed. But maybe, just maybe, the way they looked at humanity had. A new alert pinged on the main console. Voss turned, expecting another threat. But it wasn't a fleet. It was a message. Simple. 1. From the Lorian Confederation, from the Trezari Council, from 12 more species. They all said the same thing. We stand with Earth. Harris read the list aloud, stunned. Even some from inside the council. They're breaking ranks. Voss nodded slowly. They're not just afraid anymore. They're thinking. Admiral Reyes appeared on the comm screen, this time looking slightly less grim. We just got confirmation, he said.
Council
is calling a special vote. Not about war, about dissolving the old structure. Reform. Voss raised an eyebrow. They expect us to help rebuild? Reyes smirked. They're asking for it. Voss took a deep breath. I had spent the last 2 days preparing for a war she couldn't win. Now, the real work was beginning. Tell them we'll talk, she said, but this time it's on equal ground. 2 days later, she stood in a meeting hall aboard a neutral orbital station near the center of the galaxy. No grand chairs, no high walls, just one round table. Everyone equal. Ambassadors from dozens of species gathered. Some still looked unsure, others curious, a few genuinely hopeful. Voss wasn't used to diplomacy, but she stood behind Ambassador Lin as he addressed the group. For too long, Lin said, the Council ruled by fear, by keeping young species in their place. Humanity won't accept that anymore. And we don't want to become what we just resisted. The room was quiet. We offer a new choice, a real alliance. Not of rulers, but of equals. Of voices that matter. No secrets, no silent weapons, no more lies. He gestured to Commander. Voss, who stepped forward. The room watched her closely. You saw what we could do, she said simply. But what matters is what we didn't do. They listened. You saw our illusions, our tricks, but you never saw us strike first. It's not weakness. That's a choice. One we're proud of. Lorien counselor stood and bowed her. Feathered head. We accept Earth's offer. Let the old council fall. Let something new rise. One by one, others stood. Some with hesitation, some with pride. By the end of the hour, 29 species had signed on. A new alliance was born. Months passed. Earth shared parts of Chimera. The bluff became a foundation. Together, humans and allies built real defense systems, peaceful exploration programs, and open science labs. The stars began to feel less cold. Commander Voss eventually returned to Helio's Edge, which was now a hub for Alliance operations. Peace was still fragile, but it was holding. Harris stood beside her at the window, watching. New ships, Doclorian cruisers, Tresseri science vessels, and human transports. Funny, he said. I thought we were finished when the colonies went dark. So did I, she admitted. But we made it. We didn't win because we had the biggest weapons, Voss said. We won because we refused to be what they expected, and that made all the difference. He smiled. Will they ever fully trust us? Maybe not, she said. But they'll never underestimate us again. She looked out at the stars, now full of movement ships, from dozens of worlds crossing the void together. Humanity had survived. And now they were no longer standing alone. They were part of something bigger, not through war, but through choice. The galaxy had tested them, and humanity had answered. Not with fury, but with fire, light in the truth.